Yo boys, back with another video. Today we are going to be doing the good old Rogue Mage. Now this is a carry, and keep in mind this guy's also in greens, all greens, no tier set, nothing, nada, all full greens. Now, if you guys didn't know, the MMR cap for Arena is still on, so these games were actually tough. And these are the better games that I got. So here we're sapping his shields off. He spelled sealed it. We're gonna cheap shot both. You could instantly blind, or you could do it this way. Either way, we get Trinket, PS. Let's see, do we get anything else? It looks like hit. So we got Trinket and PS pretty much on our first go. And we get out of there immediately. Pretty much you're doing your go. Obviously, if you can keep doing damage, keep doing damage. But usually if they wall and use stuff like that, then you pretty much can, that's all you can get. So at this point, we're waiting for the DRs. He uses burst here, so here he sheeps. I instantly blind on top of it on accident. I didn't even see it was sheeping. But here I shadowy duel because I know he's gonna get out of the game was over at that point. Thankfully, we got the good setup here and we take him out. We skip it a little bit because the Pre's actually tried to 1v2 like usual. But yeah, most of these games won't be this simple. Now, if you have full gear, it's a little bit different. But we tended to lose to like Feral Druids, H-Pals, Warlocks, and we were getting those almost every game. It was ridiculous. So these are the better games. So yeah, Rogue Mage is really good right now, but it still needs to be played really good. And then on top of that, obviously, you're gonna want gear. If we had best in slot gear, both of us, um, even if it was a carry or not, he plays way better than any carry I've done. So he's mainly a PvEer, I'm pretty sure. But as you can see, everything ended up working out in a lot of these games. The games that we were supposed to win, we easily won. Pretty much no contest. So here I blind him, I smoke bomb. There's nothing he can do. So even if he did have Trinket, we had a restun for him. We had smoke bomb up. It was GG's. There was no out of that situation. And here comes a Warlock. So these are the games that if we faced, it is very rare that I think we beat one Warlock or two max. And they're both in this video. Thankfully, when you're facing a Wrestler, it's a little bit different. But when you're facing a Disc Raise, you can't really do a lot of things that you could versus a Wrestler. So here we get a Sheep setup. He re-sheeps again. We're going to stun off of it. So we get a pretty good setup here. We also blind on top of it. You think this guy would be dead by now. But he ends up actually just holding everything. But thankfully, he PS'd my Shadowy Duel, which obviously wasn't meant to kill him because we had no blades. Our blades was gone by then. So we pretty much got a ton of CDs. As you can see, my S Arena's kind of bugged on this account. I have to like fix it, but I don't really. The only time I'm playing on this account is if I'm doing carries and I'm just farming gold. So I'm too lazy to go through. I don't really care enough. But regardless, we end up getting a really good solid setup here. We almost end up winning, but at this point we shouldn't have shadowy duel or we shouldn't have shadow dance because now as you can see our Shadow Dance, we got a minute before it comes up. So we have to basically use our blades to farm it so then we can go. So here I'm going to try farming it a little bit. And then I'm like, okay, well I need this back ASAP. So here I'm probably going to blades. I'm just going to start using those eviscerates, using those slice and dices. And that's kind of what you have to do. Because we're not going to kill this guy without, Shadow Dance. Which is weird. Because running out of Shadow Dance is like you can't do anything. So here we get a Kenny. This is our last go. I secret tech early because he sheeps really late, which means I'm able to get that damage off in time and we win the game. Because he didn't have any cooldowns left, because we got Dark Pack from the last one. Obviously, a lot of people sheep really early, and you'll end up not being able to, get it off, but it ends up working out in your favor. My bad, I got a messaging game. But yeah, here we're looking around, sapping around, and all that good stuff. Okay. While everyone's in stealth, so they both open. Here, usually you're gonna go Feral Druid. Mages are really hard to kill, and especially when you're playing with somebody that's not only under geared, but they're having like trouble surviving. You're probably gonna want to kill the fastest target, which will obviously be the Feral Druid, because you're able to 100% stick on him the entire time. And you're pretty much just using every cooldown that you absolutely need to use when you gotta use them cooldowns. But as you can see, we literally barely in the nick of time kill this guy. Thankfully, I have to use my Vanish here to finish him because I literally cannot kill this guy. He's literally sat in bear form. He almost survived. We have 0 cooldowns. Now, if this guy had Blink up, all he would have to do is blink over, And what he's doing is he's waiting for me to stun, which is a bad move because I don't have any cooldowns. And then he blocks. So this guy's like, he already messed up by not blinking to keep me in combat. I had no vanish, no cloak. There was no reason of him holding blink. Even if I stun him, he would have gotten a bleed on me, or literally anything to keep me in combat, and he would have won the game. Thankfully, that one mistake, which honestly, it was a good and bad move, but it ends up just going like that. But, that's pretty much that. So at this point, we're kind of waiting for our cooldowns, and I'm actually like typing in between this, so I'm like going back and forth. But as a rogue, if you're gonna want to 1v1 somebody, even if like in a situation like this, you'll see in a lot of my 1v1 situations where I'll wait for cooldowns. Once you have cloak, vanish, and pretty much everything else, you don't need two vanishes and all that. As long as you just have your normal setup that you would normally have, you can win. Now in this situation, he should never lose to me. He has blink stun. Thankfully, he's already wasted a block. And if you're a rogue, you know how annoying blink stun is. So here he messes up because he instantly breaks his own. All he had to do right there is spam sheet me, and then frost nova me, and I basically used my entire blade on nothing. So now, thankfully, I have to cloak, and I'm like, okay, well, at least I get a forces alter time back and do a little bit more damage before it ends. So here we get him down to about 60%, which actually helped us a lot. Here I smoke bomb because there's no reason of holding it at this point, especially when I need to get away. But at this point, the game all comes down to playing it smart. You can't just use cooldowns like you normally would in a 2v2. Here, you need to use your cooldowns properly. When do you want to vanish? Well, that's a perfect scenario of when to vanish. So in this situation, we have no Shadow Dance. We have to vanish. We're going to try to get away to force him out of block early, because he's going to come out. So the moment he gets out, we're going to instantly put a Rupture up, and now we have to kill him. We're going to cheap shot for extra comm points, because we get some, and we'll kill him. Even though it was fully DR. But we end up taking the good old-fashioned W. So here we open, we sap him, we're cheap shotting, we're going to do a resap or a resheep, so we resheep, we're going to stun off that with the kidney shot, we're going to shadowy duel in case he tries to sank it, so now he's not able to sank it. On top of this, we're going to cheap shot again, even if it's DR'd, so cheap shot, and then we're going to cheap shot again. Now he's going to be globaled, and he gets taken out just before, again, the nick of time. And again, that's where those tiny GCD globals of theirs is more important than an entire line of CC. So just those last two CCs is what won us the game. And it was pretty crazy, but... But here we open this guy. Pretty much you can kill both targets here usually, but it's usually gonna be a lot harder, obviously. So here we blind. We try to resap his trinket. It wasn't gonna happen. We shadowy still instead. Somehow this guy actually survives. In what world does anybody survive at 30% on my Shadow Dance? That's crazy. So at this point, we've gotten double trinket. Now, if this was normal Rogue Mage, how it used to be, we would be able to win the game. Because there's two of us, it's 2v1 when we're CCing. So here I cheap shot, we kidney shot. It looks like we get the sheep. As you can see, literally 100% HP. So this was our entire, mini go, and I was like, okay, there's no way we're killing this warrior. This guy literally sat up to 90% sitting there, clicking W on his keyboard. So I'm like, okay, well, my guy's double blocked still. All we need to do is wait for our blade. So I'm like, okay, yo, I need some time. Unfortunately, we're not in Discord, so I can't tell him that. So he ends up going early, which almost ends up, I think it does end up not benefiting. So here I'm like, 1 sec, and then he DBs. And then I'm like, okay, I have to kidney, but now I can't use any of my AoE abilities because it'll break the CC. At this point, we're already way far behind. Now, we did get skin, so we got something out of it, but that... And the greatest thing about this, the only reason we won this, I accidentally did not use blades. I'm pretty sure. Now, I don't know if I just didn't click my macro. I was like, yo, we're not going to kill him. We'll just wait. So, I don't know what I was thinking at this point. I think it was literally just not up. Now here, I'm like, okay, now we have to win. So here I have blades. We use every cooldown. We're gonna instantly get those restuns, because if I don't, there might be a chance he survives. Thankfully, we get the W, and it is all over for my boy here. But yeah, here we pretty much help the good old warrior, or help the mage technically, but and this is pretty much rogue mage right now. And again, this guy doesn't have gear, so you could just imagine how broken this comp could be if he actually had gear, because he would be doing almost 3 times the damage. Because he's doing a lot of damage because of his hero talent or whatever hero power. It got a massive buff. Like if you're noticing Frostfire just doing unhealable damage, yeah, it's insane. But that's pretty much that. Let me put my LFG back up here. Now, I guess I didn't even cut this part out, but it's whatever. We instantly got him back in the game anyway. Now for the next game, there's a lot more games to come. You guys should be entertained this entire video. I put so many clips in here that you can just watch, and it's not long games either. So we're not sitting here for 10 minutes like where we would with the healer DPS. We're simply just going in and getting out. The best thing about double DPS, and especially Rogue Mage, because that's really the only double DPS comp you can have, like even have a chance at, and even that is bad. Because obviously Rogue Mage is going to get absolutely slaughtered by... If we have best in slot gear, even we could be everything that's not a caster usually. Like you're not gonna be warlocks, you're not gonna be SP, you're not gonna be H files usually. But there are situations where you'll see that just like an ounce of hope and you can win. And you'll see a lot of these games that we win, the big CC doesn't even matter. And that's the sad thing about Rogue Mage, it's no longer about CC and it's more about PvE. Because again, if my guy had damage, we wouldn't have to do all this CC. We would just do a sap go, we just cheap shot 3 times, and my guy would just full send him. So again, you don't need to be doing all this fancy stuff. This is kind of just, this is old school Rogue Mage kind of. Obviously, it's a little bit different. But as you can see, we get Bubble, we get Revival, and this is lower rated, but you have to imagine, these games are the best games that I have at this rating, and my guy's playing actually good. And you have to imagine the difference between, if you can get 1800 right now, and I'm being honest, you're a gladiator level player. So if you're hitting 1800 CR right now, you are a glad level player. That's how hard it is right now to get like that. Even me and my brother played. We literally, if you're not playing an S tier comp, you will get absolutely stomped by people clicking W, and it's not even a joke. If anybody's played Arena yet, you guys know what I'm talking about. Because the difference between Blitz and Arena, and even solo shuffle is as hard as arena right now. It's actually disgusting because I'm pretty sure the MMR cap's still on, which is a big problem in the game. So here we cheap shot. We're going to stun the ret off DR. We get a solid setup. He trinkets. We kind of knew that was going to happen. He bops. He's going to steal the bop. My guy actually almost ends up killing him, which honestly, possibly if I maybe re-DR stun, it maybe would have done something or gouged him DR. But at this point, we just do more CC, and my guy literally just kills him. The monk could have actually like came up to me and maybe touched me, like touched death to me, but it wouldn't really matter at the point. He's not going to 1v1 my mage, not as a non-fist weaver, that is. Next game, it's a warrior. Now, usually what you would do is you're going to run in, sap priest, your mage is going to DB the warrior on your sap. We'll see if we do that here. I think we do, or we double DB, we'll see. So here we get the double, I'm going to wait for him to start casting sheep, now I'm going to stun. We're going to start popping off here. We're going to restun. Nice. We get PS. We get double trinket. We're going to restun the priest because why not? Keep the go going. There's no point of just running away just because you get 1 cooldown. Now we've gotten every CD that we can possibly hope for in the opener, which is insanely good for us. So at this point, he has Dab of the Swords, but is it going to matter? We'll see. Again, if he had gear, we'd have a lot better chance of killing this guy off our go. So here we get a mini go here. We'll see if we kill him. It looks like we're doing all the damage we have. My guy oh my god, my guy stole PI, which is excelente for us. Here we end up, it's just beautiful. You just don't get a better setup. So my guy steal PIs, which makes him, anybody knows a caster with PI is the most dangerous thing in life. It's more dangerous than any melee damage that you can possibly, accumulate, if you know what I'm saying. But here's the one spec that we can actually kill. The one class that actually dies to double DPS, which is a Wrestler Druid. They're no longer the most broken, brain-dead spec of all time. And now, I mean, they are brain-dead, but they die, at least. And they're not that good healing-wise. They'll get absolutely farmed by, like... They're good, but they're not good at the same time. They're good enough to win, but they're not good enough to be S tier, is what I'm saying. Maybe in 2s they can work out, but, like, you're going to face a Disc Priest or a Press Evoker. It's not going to be fun. So here we Trinket. We're going to use every cooldown in the game, literally Every single time you have to do this. If you want to win games versus the rest of the, this is what you have to do. Because guess what? If he trinkets, what's going to happen is we're just going to restun it. And that's what I'm looking for, those restuns. And again, you also have to keep in mind, if my guy had everything he needed, again, he's in literally green gear. Full greens. And he's doing unhealable damage. Now imagine 3 times that damage for my mage. That's pretty much the difference in, gear. But at this point, I'm like, okay, I'm looking at this guy's Maul, and I'm like, I don't know. I feel like this guy's going to die without clicking anything. The one time that, actually, technically the 2 times that they die without clicking anything, except wall. He trinkets late, guess what? That is a bad play. Now, he had a global to swap. I'm pretty sure he clicked another global instead. Listen, guys, you want to beat WDPS? I will tell you a cheat code to beating all WDPS 9 times out of 10. On their burst, specifically on the rogue's blades, use every cooldown and you'll win. You're not going to die off cooldowns, and the odds that you do die, then it means you use like 9 cooldowns. Like, just like that Priest and Warrior. They used PS, double trinkets, all that in just the first opener. When they could have just, I could have just trinket out of swords. I could have just PS them. He would have been fine. I didn't even need a trinket. You just got to not overuse 900 cooldowns at once. You have so many. But here we pretty much are going to go the Feral Dirge. Same thing as the Mage Feral. You just never get off the Feral. Never let him recover. And if you do that while you CC the Priest, you're going to be able to win the game. Now again, you're still full sending. You're going to be going in. You're going to be going hard. But as you can see here, we end up killing him right off the R the moment it's off. Because at this point he's dead. And then we still have another vanish in the good old bash. But for the next game here, Mage Priest, which is a disgusting comp, and that another comp that should never lose to a rogue mage. But thankfully, they end up misplaying, and we end up getting the W. But you'll see here, we wait for the mage to open. Usually on my mage would want to stealth afterwards, but who cares? Regardless, we're going to try to sap if we can. Nope. So the mage is going to be coming out here in a second, so we're going to look for that. We're waiting for him to come out. Unfortunately, he does a really good ice. He gets a really good player. So here, unfortunately, I can't stun him because he has ice form up. My guy has to spell steal that, but as you can see, there's 900 things he has to spell steal. So here we blind, we throw that out, and then we're going to vanish sap, or my mage is going to... So it looks like we shadowy duel, and now my guy can try to sheep. We'll see what happens. So now we get the sheep. Unfortunately, his orb breaks it. So here we just cheap shot. At this point, we get Guardian. I smoke bomb late, and we get block. So we just kept the go going, and we took it down. But at this point, we're looking for the sap. If we know it's off DR, that's how you win a game right there, ladies and gentlemen. The moment it's off DR and you're looking for a re, always pay attention to the DRs, because there's a chance that you'll hit those saps. Because especially if they're not paying attention to keeping themselves in combat, which they usually don't, you'll get situations like that to where you can take them out, pretty much. At this point, we pretty much open on the Warrior, we sap, we pretty much get a good opener. This guy is so lucky to almost survive. He wasn't lucky enough, thankfully, but we took him out just and then, again, these are just times that if we don't win here, it's really bad. Because our off goes suck. They're not strong. It's very rare that we kill somebody. All they have to do is sit in D stands, and you'll see, just like that other Warrior, you take negative damage. Here's another perfect example of how to beat a DH. Run in immediately as a rogue, even if whatever spec you're playing, sap the DH, sap him, swap back, immediately start smoke bombing him. You're going to full send him right here. My guy's going to sheep off the sap, or I'm going to try to resap. It looks like I blind instead. So here I blind. We're going to keep the go going because we know we have more CC to use. We're going to kidney shot off the sheep, and then we're going to shadowy duel. He's up in the air. My mage is literally going to solo him. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. Now the healer can't heal because he's in shadowy duel, and that's pretty much it.